Welcome back once again. I'm really glad that you're able to make it. So today in a short lecture, in this short video, I'll show you how to set up Visual Studio software. As you're aware, Microsoft created the software many years ago. So in this presentation, I'll show you how to set up your Visual Studio and start your first C++ program. If you already have installed the Microsoft Visual Studio, our instructions, the instructions were available on our Canvas site. So you can simply open it, or you can type and you can find Visual Studio 2015, or probably you installed the newer edition 2017 Community Edition. So either one should be fine. If you have Visual Studio 2015, I'm going to click on it. So it's going to open up a window like this one. In order to set it up, either you can click on New Project right there, or you can go to File, New Project. So once you select File, New Project, you can click on it, and it might open up a different language based on what languages you installed on your Visual Studio. So make sure you are in C++, Visual C++, and under Visual C++, we'll be creating Windows 32 console application. So select that template, and before we go any further, we'd like to save this particular project where we can easily find it, such as your desktop, USB, or some other folder. So you can click on Browse right here and select your location. For example, if you would like to save on your desktop, you can click Desktop and hit Select Folder. So that will be your location. You can also rename your project. Right now it's called Console Application 5. You can name it anything you like. You can call it Project 1. You can call it Hello World. Any kind of name you like to assign to this particular project. Once the name and the locations have been set up, you can hit OK, and it will open up this dialog box. In this dialog box, you want to click Application Settings and click Empty Project. And once you have clicked Empty Project, you can hit Finish. What it does, it creates a folder for you, folder on your desktop. And on your Visual Studio, you can actually right-click on source files, add new item. So right-click on source files, add new item. If you already have an existing item, you can also select. But in our case, because this is the first time we are selecting Visual Studio or creating a project in Visual Studio, so we'll select add new item under source files. Click on new item, and it's giving us two options here, either C++ file, .cpp, or .h file. You can click on .cpp, and also you have a choice to rename your file right there. By default it's called source.cpp, but you can assign a different name, such as Project 1 or your last name, Project 1, any name. But leave the dot extension the way it is. Do not change the dot extension, because that extension is needed in order to identify your project for me to grade, and also to run your projects in my projects as well as your homework. So once you actually have selected C++ file and you have renamed it, you can hit Add. Once you add it, this is where you can actually write your code. This is called the text editor. So this is your Visual Studio text editor. So we'll create a very simple project just to test our Visual Studio. So as we discussed on the first lecture, that we need some libraries in order to set up our Visual Studio. One of the libraries we need is, we can say include this library, @ IOStream input/output stream, and we'll say using namespace std semicolon. And here's our main function. Main function, as you remember, is the starting point of any C++ code. Inside the main function, you can write instructions, and those instructions will be executed by the compiler, C++ compiler. All right, so the first thing we'd like to do is type cout, hello world, and then add a new line, ENDL, and we'd like to test this project. How do you test it? If you remember from our instructions, you can hit Control key and F5 at the same time. So I'm going to hold on to the Control key, hit F5, and if everything is set up correctly, it should run and produce results on this screen here. All right, seems like our project is working, and we can see our results right there. Hello world, and we have successfully created and set up our first C++ project. Now, just one note I'd like to make here: if you're using Visual Studio 2017 Community Edition, so when you went to File, New, Project, in that case, you would like to select Empty Project. In Visual Studio Community 2017 Edition, you want to select Empty Project. And by hitting the Empty Project, when you hit OK, it's going to take you to this location where you can add the source file directly. There's no dialog box involved in